Hey everybody, I'm back with another video for you today, and this time around I've got a bit of an experimental Skellige list, which I'm going to say it outright, it probably isn't as good as some other Skellige decks you could be playing. You know, think about maybe Second Wind being the leader, that's the typical way to play Skellige, so you can instantly proc your get in a scenario. But the version I've gone for here is a little bit greedier, it's a little bit more risky, and it is running the Patricidal Fury leader instead of Second Wind, alongside some cards that synergize with that, you know, Madman Lugos and Hemdall, as well as Wild Boar of the Sea, which you find in most Skellige decks. Really, the concept here is just to play kind of the most value you can in Skellige, the most kind of standalone best kind of cards. No great swords, no dagger, none of the cards that can be bled or, you know, severely become weaker from the opponent knowing they're there or playing around them. Just a lot of good value. Now, the scenario can get dealt with by Bomb Heaver. That is a bit of a problem for the deck. If you do run into Bomb Heaver, that's going to, you know, knock the power level down a bit. So if you do want to play Skellige, and you're a bit worried about that, you can definitely play Second Wind, jig around some of these cards. Hemdall, Lugos are not necessary in any Skellige deck, really. You could play other things there. You could still play Hemdall because he's quite good, you know, despite that, quite often in Second Wind. But there are other cards to think about there, you know, Great Swords, Dagger, etc. But I wanted to try out this kind of greedy list and see if I can get a few wins just by playing, you know, so a good Bloodthirst package alongside a couple of Druids to proc that scenario and get that carryover with Crow Mother. So it's a pretty interesting one. As I said, you know, not the perfect list and not the best thing to play, but definitely fun, and I think it's not too bad either when you don't get punished for your greediness. Let's jump into a couple of games and see how it plays. Alright, first game going to be against Blood Money. And we've got red coin, that's pretty good for us, so we'll see what we can do here. Really just going to be kind of playing from behind, trying to pressure them a little bit, maybe try to win on even with Wild Boar of the Sea. Something like that, but really just get that Crow Mother carryover, play some bad cards, hopefully trade well, and, you know, hopefully win the round as well, using a bit of engine power and whatnot. Alright, we can probably get rid of Captain, it's not super good, but maybe first let's think about mulliganing other cards. I don't know, I have a lot of removal which can be useful. I do want to kind of mulligan probably one or two of these alchemy cards, as I don't have other ways to, you know, tutor alchemy with Ermion, who I do have in the deck. So I think I'm actually going to get rid of both of these, and that should be okay for us. Want to have them later so I can pull Crow Mother, don't really need them right now. Let's just deal with the Seductress straight away. Sounds good. And we'll see where to go from there. Probably going to play the Corsair. I don't have any boats to use with it, which is a bit annoying. I think we can play that. It will be a bit of a thorn in the opponent's side this round. Syndicate doesn't have the best ways to deal with Corsair. They can maybe poison it or maybe damage it, but either way it's going to be a little bit suboptimal for them. And we're going to be able to get Wild Boar with our Matter, should we be needing that this round. So I want to play the Crow Mother, the Savage Bear. I think I'll play Bear first. I'd like to maybe wait on Crow Mother a bit so he can't steal it with Philippa, because that's a play that I would rather avoid the opponent being able to make. And you've got to be a bit careful with your Druids with this deck. You don't want to use too many of them, otherwise you aren't able to use your scenario, which can become a problem for you. In fact, I could even think about committing Gideoneth this round, although if I wanted to do that, I probably should have done that a bit earlier. This way I'm losing out on a bit of value, unfortunately. Alright, let's just bleed Adriana. We could think about playing Captain. I don't know, I could go with Gideoneth. But maybe let's play Pirate Captain first and see where we're at. This is a card we're going to need to get rid of some way. I could kill the Sea Jackal, but I don't think it's too worth it since he already has another spender on the board. I'd rather just damage a lot of things and keep them hopefully damaged for Wild Boar later. There's going to be a Fist Tech coming down that is quite late into the round. And it does look like the Gideoneth will now get me ahead if I play it, so I think I'm actually going to play it. I'll try to use it to win on even here, really pressure out the opponent. Interesting thing about not playing Second Wind is we don't really rely on the Gideoneth for the finisher. We do have just a Patricidal Fury with a lot of points, you know, potentially with Hemdall and stuff later. So there are things you can do. I think Matt actually pulls both Wild Boar and Hemdall, so we've got to be a bit cautious of that, but you know, you have a lot of good things to matter with this deck. Looks like the opponent is going to just take that poison value. I'm going to play Crow Mother now, get the carryover and get a load of points on my side of the board. If we need to, we can play Grimace soon as well to get that final chapter completed. Going to be a nice chill win on even, and hopefully we can translate that into a victory. It's definitely nice just playing a vanilla scenario and not, you know, running stuff that necessarily needs to proc it straight away to use it. Sometimes it's just good to play it and get a billion points and then win the game as a result. Got to be a bit careful though, because of course Syndicate will have a fair amount of stuff to do later in the game. There's going to be a poison, and I think that's going to be our Grimace. Just a really good target for that. We can think about, you know, putting it on Crow Mother or Bear. Either of those works, and we'll just get rid of the poison. And that should be securing the round win now, and we're going to hold on to a lot of our really good cards that synergize with the leader. That should be fine. Kind of matter to find the kind of final finisher card that we need, Hemdall or Wild Boar, whichever one we don't find. And I'm probably going to push him round 2 and make life awkward for the opponent. We can think about 2-0ing them if they don't respect the amount of points we have. And we're going to hopefully get Crow Mother carryover as well using Decoction or Delirium. I'm not running Freya in this deck. It could be worth it, but I figure since I'm not already trying to instantly activate scenario, you don't really need the Freya. It's oftentimes going to be kind of awkward to use, probably. I think I'll get rid of the Druid here. And then we could get rid of Delirium because it's potentially tutorable by Ermion. I think I'm going to do that. I would like to have another Alchemy in deck for round 3. Okay, we don't really have a great opening play, so I guess I've got to go with Matter. Let's see what we get here. Going to be Hemdall, okay. Now we do want a long round, but I don't think we want a long round against Passiflora. That's just not going to be too enjoyable, even if we are a card up. There's ways that we lose that game if we do go into the round 3. Alright, so do we want to pass here? I mean, we could. We definitely could. Witch Hunter's not doing too much. I think I want to get my Crow Mother carryover before passing, so I'm going to play Raiding Fleet now. Thin my deck out a little bit. We don't want the round to be too short, because then a lot of our cards will lack value a little bit, like Wild Boar and whatnot. And at that point we might just be relying on Crow Mother to win the game, which is maybe not a great position to put yourself in. But we'll see. If he doesn't play Passiflora, we probably just have enough points to actually really push the opponent. Okay, so we can probably play Delirium, I think, here with the Ermion and start killing off these Scarabs, hopefully. And then we'll just see where we go from there. It's going to be quite a lot of points, provided we don't hit the Witch Hunter too much. Alright, we managed to kill those Scarabs, it's quite good for us. And we'll give some damage to the Azar, I think, as well. And a little bit sad that we hit Witch Hunter twice, but kind of to be expected, right? Okay, we're actually going to see the Passiflora now. So at this point, I think I'm quite happy to take the pass. We're going to have carryover in round 3. We've kind of denied him the opportunity of getting carryover established. And we've got the Passiflora, which is arguably one of Syndicate's best cards. He does still have the Louisa Savola combo, which is a bit scary. But I think at this point it's a bit risky to push in and say that I can win round 2 here. I might not be able to with Passiflora on the board. And I think we'd just rather have like a 7 card round than a 3 or 4 with the hand that I have right now. Defender's also gone, which is pretty huge because we can always find our Morkvarg value or, you know, get the damage through with Lugos, etc. It looks like the opponent's just going to forfeit. I think the win on even was a bit too much there for him to handle. Alright, not a bad game to start with. Let's jump into another one and see if we can win again. Okay, now we're going to be up against Scoia'tael. They are playing Precision Strike, so we got to watch out for Ignis and Scorches and stuff like that. Got a bit of a better hand than last game, I think, even though it worked out okay, and we did win on even. This hand is a bit more kind of playable, and since we're not against Syndicate, we're not going to be able to bully as much, probably. So it's good to have a lot of playable bronzes. Happy to have the one longship, I think. We could think about getting rid of Pirate Captain or Stunning Blow. Maybe one Pirate Captain can go here, one Stunning Blow. Stunning Blow is also not too bad if he plays Percival or something, so maybe we keep that. Maybe I keep the entire hand here. I think it's not too bad. Actually, I probably should have mulliganed Decoction there. We don't really want the alchemy cards because of Ermion and of course Crow Mother, so I probably should have mulliganed that. Oh well, not the end of the world. Let's just open up with the captain, as we often do, and then another one, and then probably Longship, and we're going to hope to draw into Wild Boar. Yeah, I really should have mulliganed that alchemy card there. But hopefully we'll be alright, nevertheless. Alright, looks like it's some kind of elf deck, so that probably means Igni is going to be a thing here, and it's not going to be, you know, a Harmony version. That's usually what happens if they are running elves. So, you know, quite important to win round one, probably. Interestingly, he went for the movement there rather than the other option, but okay. Savage Bear time then. Honestly, against elves, we should have a pretty decent time because Wild Boar of the Sea is just going to shut down a lot of what they want to do, get us a lot of points. Then again, they have a lot of tempo, so you've got to respect that, and I don't play greatsword or daggers, so might be a bit trickier than it normally would be. I think we're going to go with the Longship and just extend the round a bit here. We can matter as well if we want to do that. Just going to enable things like Pirate Captain, which otherwise are a bit tricky to use here. And yeah, really just try to get the damage onto these elves. Looks like he's actually going to deny my Longship, fair enough. So we could go with just Ermion Delirium. I don't mind that as a play. It is a druid though, so we might need to have that for later. Could be a bit risky to play it. We're kind of running out of steam here a little bit, annoyingly. So maybe let's just take the pass and see if we can defend the bleed in round 2. Not too worried about the leader that he's playing, because the Igni is not going to be too useful against Skellige here, provided we don't play into it too much. He definitely had the tools to deal with my engines in that round, which is a bit annoying, but what can you do? Let's get rid of Captain, or maybe Decoction. Maybe Decoction is fine. I don't want the brick in this situation. I think Stunning Blow, actually. Gutting Slash will probably be a bit more useful. I've got to be very careful with the mulligans in this deck, because there are a lot of bricks. Like right now, if I play Longship, then my raiding fleet does become bricked. So that's something worth keeping in mind. Looks like the opponent wants to play the round here, so what's our best course of action? Probably just playing Matter now is fine. I want to see how far in he's going this round, whether I need to commit my scenario, whether I want to instead play for Bloodthirst and things like that this round. I do only have 2 druids in hand, so I need to be a bit cautious with how I use those. I think I'm going to have to play the Longship here, and it does create a brick in my deck, which is kind of not ideal. But I think it's probably what we've got to do here. We'll just start damaging. It's a bit risky for him to play on now. He might end up losing his card, so I'm just kind of wanting to see a bit more investment before playing something like my Gideoneth. And he's actually going to move my boat, which is again a bit of a pain. What can we go for here? I think I do have to play my scenario. We're going to need the points. And it kind of sucks because he can just take a pass here if he wants. But I think we should still be in an okay spot in the long round with Wild Boar and Hemdall and stuff. So I think we're okay playing this. Okay. So now we can either play the Herbalist or the Ermion. I guess we'll go Ermion first. It's a bit more points. It's also going to set up Bloodthirst with Delirium here, which I think is going to come in handy. Oh, never mind. That's pretty funny. Okay. So we lose a bit of the value on that play. I was assuming it wouldn't kill 2 units, but sometimes the RNG goes that way, I suppose, with Delirium. Not the end of the world, but definitely a bit of a pain, because now not going to be as easily able to play Gutting Slash and Pirate Captain for value. That being said, he does give me Stunning Blow now, so I'll use that here, I think, to set up the coming damage and whatnot, should we want to play that. We'll see where we go from here. Probably need to get that last chapter activated on the scenario. Have the Druid to do that, and this Druid's not too good at this point because it's meant to be working with the longships, and both of those have been deactivated, so yeah, we probably want to play that this round. Looks like he's actually going in here, which is a bit surprising. I guess he's very scared of Wild Boar, doesn't want to go into a round 3 against it. So he's going to try to force it this round, I suppose, and go really in. Really big time in. Okay, we've got to respect the points a little bit here. I think I'm just going to play my... it plays into the Igni that he maybe has. Maybe we should just chill still for the moment and play Pirate Captain. I think I like it. Set up the damage still. Make sure that, you know, even if he plays an Isengrim or something, we've still got Bloodthirst on the board. Working. Morkvarg's probably going to be a little bit bad here. Turn on the extra points so we can see if we're playing into Igni. Because I think that's a card that he could very well have here. Seen a fair amount of it. Obviously that's getting changed next patch, so you won't be able to play Precision Strike Igni very effectively anymore. Okay, and he's playing that on front row, which is really bizarre. Not sure what the thinking is behind that. I guess maybe he's doesn't want to hit my matter. He might have a Scorch, I suppose. Could be the case. Not sure exactly. That one's a weird one. So we could just play Heimdall. I mean, it's a pretty chunky play. It won't quite get us ahead, I don't think. I don't know. I feel like playing the Herbalist here is fine. It plays into his Scorch or Igni a bit, but realistically, I don't think that's the end of the world. Does get me a lot of points on the board now. Igni is still deactivated. He could have a Scorch, but you know, Scorch for 12 isn't that good. And if he tries to make us play into it, then we'll see if we can answer it. We might be okay in that kind of situation. So interestingly, he's going to try to set up a Scorch, but his Oak does block that. So as long as we don't play into it, I think we'll be fine here. I'm actually going to kill the Half-Elf, I think, with Gutting Slash here. Get the value on that. I'm able to take it quite easily with a Wild Boar if he does pass. Have Heimdall as our finisher. And he's kind of overcommitted to this round by using the leader. I guess maybe he didn't quite comprehend that he couldn't get the Scorch value and stuff. I could have probably fired off the Wild Boar a bit earlier and maybe got an extra card there, but I don't think it's really needed. I think we'll be okay here, just playing around stuff. You know, if he played all the way here with Isengrim and stuff, then it might have been a mistake to commit Wild Boar. Might have run into difficulties with points. Maybe not, but you never know. So we have a bit of a late Chroma there and a Bricks raiding fleet, which sucks. We'll mulligan that though, and it won't be the end of the world for us. Got some decent cards left, so we're going to mulligan Morkvarg here, I think. Okay, Stunning Blow's a bit worse, but what can you do? Let's open up with Crow Mother. Still not too bad in round 3, although we would have obviously liked to have it earlier in the game. But the leader value here should be enough, I'm imagining, to take the round against this. We probably want to leave that on the board. I think I'm going to play Gremist, actually. Probably don't even need the Purification here. I want to keep their units on the board so that my Heimdall maybe gets more value, and so I have something to hit with the bear, with the bleeding. Okay, speaking of the bear and the bleeding, let's do that now. I'm really wondering where the points of this guy are. I think all of his provisions are probably tied up in Igni and Scorch, which are cards that aren't very good against this deck, it turns out. So I think more than likely, yeah, we're seeing probably Igni Scorch last couple of cards. Let's damage this. If he does have Scorch, we give him value, but that's fine. The alternative would be hitting a unit that's bleeding, which doesn't feel too good. It doesn't feel too bad either. So presumably last card is Igni now. I think that makes the most sense. Can we play around it? Not really. There's not really any way to do that, but yeah, that's going to be a pretty easy win again. There we go. Maybe not the strongest opponents, and I think the deck's not maybe the best version of Skellige, as I said, but you can definitely win with it. It could probably be optimized a bit more, but I haven't had a huge amount of time to experiment with Skellige recently. But I wanted to get a deck out there anyway for you guys, so feel free to adjust some of the cards and maybe the leader as well if you want something a bit more optimized. I'm not going to come out here and tell you this deck is OP when it's, when I don't think it is. And, Skellige is a good faction right now, so there's a lot of things you can do with it. And, maybe Arnulf is the way, maybe not. Up to you, really. Anyway, patch coming soon. I'll probably not do another video until then. We'll see how it goes, though. If I find something that's worth making a video on, then I will. Otherwise, not. And, yeah, stay safe, everyone. Have a good day. And thanks a lot for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.